Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me and the rest of the panel here on Archive DStyle here. What's going on? What's going on? And when you're coming in, if you're listening on Archive, make sure you throw a jab. Throw a jab at that like button. Make sure that like button turns blue. Do it now. There you go. Thank you very much. A lot to talk about here. Big weekend of fights. We're nearing the end of the year. I do want to let people know that the 23rd of December will be the year-end awards that I'll be giving out. So you guys be on the lookout for that one. That might be the last video I do the whole year because I'm taking from Christmas and New Year's. Like, people are going to be like, where's DStyle at? Okay? But I'll keep everyone posted, though. I'm being joined by Reggie Owens. I'm being joined by G-Funk. I got to throw a 45 down there against G-Funk. All right. And by Stormy B-Man. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on, Reggie?
Oh, man, just chilling, man. Ready to talk about this past weekend of that good boxing. Some dope fights that went down.
All right. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, yeah, y'all can find me at Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. Subscribe.
Absolutely. Stormy B-Man, how's it going? And tell everybody where they can find you.
What's good, everybody? It's Stormy B-Man. You can find me right on YouTube at the Stormy B-Man channel. That's it. Very good.
And G-Funk.
What's going on, everybody? I'm back. I'm ready. And you can find me here on YouTube, GFunky84 Boxing. And I'm also on Twitter at the same handle, GFunky84 Boxing.
It's actually just GFunky84, right? That's just you didn't put boxing on it. I'm just saying you could edit it.
I didn't. You sure?
I'm positive.
You might know more about it than me. I'm barely on it, but I'm on there now. You know,
they're gonna put boxing. They're not gonna be able to find you. That's what I'm saying. But nonetheless, GFunky84, or and there you go. Or just follow me at DStyleBoxing. By the way. Speaking of that, look, man, here's a rundown. Every Monday, it is Weekend Aftermath. Tuesday, tomorrow with Ashy Knuckles, a puncher's chance. Make sure you check that out. Mexican Latino Wednesday with this dude called G-Funk. Right, and, of course, Thursdays, it is Boxing Conversations, and that is with Reggie Owens. All right, let's go ahead and get this started here, man. Let's start off right out of the gate. Navarrete on his 5th fight in 12 months. That is insane. Okay, 5 fights, 12 months. People keep saying four fights in a year, and that's technically correct in the year 2019. But the dude fought on December 8th of last year, right? And since then fought 5 times. Let's go ahead and start with Reggie Owens, man. You know, what you think of that fight, bro?
Now, I thought it was a good fight, man. And Horta put up I ended up watching it today, probably about an hour ago. And it was a pretty good fight, man. Horta tried to do what he can. I think he was just a little bit overmatched. He didn't have the power to get any the respect of Navarrete. But what he was able to do, and this kind of showed where Navarrete running some issues, is he was able to land punches on Navarrete. He was able to make Navarrete back up, hit him with some clean body shots, as Navarrete doesn't do all the technical things that clean stuff up on defense. And if he steps in there with someone who can punch him or catch him with something, he's going to go through. But I think he's a little bit big for the cats that he done face who don't have anything to really for him to respect. So I think that's why he can make some of these mistakes at this point. But it may be something he needs to, stay disciplined with tightening up. But it was a good fight. And in that 4th round, I was tripping when they had a head clash. I think they clashed heads like twice in there. But even before that, when the round started, the guy went in retreat mode. So I don't know if something happened in that 3rd round or what was the reason behind that. He just went in a retreat mode and Navarrete went right after him. But then they bumped heads, the 2 head clashes. I don't think that really too much affected anything. Nobody got cut. He seemed to be ready to go, and Navarrete just opened up on him. He smelled blood, and he just went right after that dude. But I think the posture that dude made at the opening of the round let Navarrete know that he was trying to get up out of there, and he ended the night with the ref stepping in. But all in all, that was good work from him.
All right, absolutely. Stormy, B-Man, how'd you see this fight, man? And you know, how'd you see the fight?
Well, one thing I'm noticing about this guy, because first time I saw him was when he fought Dogbay in the first fight they had. He is not a fluke. What I'm noticing about Navarrete is this. You know how fighters, we talk about it sometimes. We talk about technique and everything with boxers, and I did watch the fight. Um, there are guys who kind of like wing their punches, right? And they don't throw with necessarily the proper technique and snap and things like that. What I've learned about this guy, he's like forgive me for not knowing his, nationality, but is he Mexican or he's from South America? Where is he from?
Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. Well, I would say he's like a Mexican Aaron Pryor. Aaron Pryor didn't always seem to have a lot of snap on his punches and whatever, but there was something about him that he did have that we often, even in recollection of his career, he's heavy-handed. And I sent message back with Reggie, and I said I was going to chop it up about that on air. This young man is heavy-handed, and because of his activity and the volume that he throws, he's starting to overwhelm these guys. And I don't mean starting because he's been fighting prior to my seeing him, but his success is predicated on the volume and landing. He's the kind of guy, he can hit you on the shoulder, he can hit you on the neck, he can hit you in the body. It's going to hurt. And he's wearing people down. Remember the first fight with Dogbay tried to be out there on him, and everything that he was doing was okay at first. But then Navarrete started walking through everything he was doing and started picking up his own activity. That's when Dogbay was in trouble. And then when they had the rematch, he didn't make adjustments or whatever, and it was the same. And it was almost suicide that Dogbay's dad wouldn't call the fight. He just let him keep getting beat down for round after round. And this kid was getting stronger as the fight goes on. And he's getting stronger because he's so heavy-handed and he's putting hands on these guys. And you can't take a lot of that when somebody is very voluminous in their output. So that's what I'm taking from him. And his confidence since he's become a champion, he's actually achieved that 10%. When people say, usually a guy wins a title, it can make him 10% better as a champion or whatever. You're actually witnessing this with Navarrete. He has that something that we were hoping that, who could have done after winning the biggest fight of his life. So, but this young man, I want to see more of him. And I want to see him, maybe even if he can go up another weight class, because I think he will carry that strength up because he's simply heavy-handed. Heavy-handed guys can always, be in a fight because all they got to do is be active. They'll make the other guy cover up, go on defense, retreat, or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing from him. I think he's very strong inside as a man, as a fighter, but I think the volume that he puts out and the effect that he gets from that, from having those heavy hands, it allows him to come on as the fight progresses.
Well said, man. And G-Funk, what you think of this, performance in Navarrete? And also, I mean, we already touched on it, but the fact that the guy is so active, and segue us into what you would like to see him do next.
Yeah, I just want to say that, this guy having 5 fights in 1 year's time span is crazy, especially for this time and this day and age in boxing. You don't see that too often. So, major credit for him and, getting wins in every single one of them. I really like this guy, man. I really like the way he fights. Very entertaining. he always comes to fight. He goes in there to try to get the KO, which is what a lot of fans like to see, including myself. His style, man, he's very long and wiry. Something about those wiry guys, man, they carry a punch, man, when they have those kind of arms like he has. We've seen it all through the history of boxing. Guys with those kind of long, skinny arms, man, they carry some kind of power with them for some reason. The way that he throws those hooks, I like it, man. He was throwing a lot of those, really long, wide hooks during the fight. Reminds me a little bit of my my hometown favorite, Diego Corrales, how he was tall and lanky. Not entirely the same style, but the way that Diego used to throw those hooks, he would come around guys' guard where they would be on the inside, guys would be just covered up, and he would just come right around with those long arms and just and find a way to get through. Navarrete does that a lot. And I like those kind of punches, man, because you just don't see them coming when you're like this, and the guy just hits you right around here on the ears, on the neck area. Those are some good hard shots that he likes to throw. But I expected him to beat this guy. Horta, he was just, for me, he was just a kind of an ordinary guy. Wasn't nothing too special about him. So I did expect Navarrete to go in there and do what he did. Who I would like to see him fight next. There's a lot of names around there, man. I would like to see if he can move up. I mean, there's no if. When he moves up, because he's got the frame to move up, definitely. And that's a few weight classes that he could go up to if he wanted to. But a few guys around there, I would like to see a fight with him and Leo Santa Cruz, man. For me, I think that would be a very, very good fight because both guys kind of have similar styles in a way, similar frames. But I think that would be action-packed, man. For me, that would be one that I would like to see definitely. But, there's a few other guys around that division that he could fight. But for me, that's the main one that I would like to see. So hopefully we can get it, man. Unless Leo's going to fight somebody who we all want to see him fight, Garrett Russell, for sure. But, we'll see if that happens or not. And if not, there's a Navarrete right there for him, man.
Well, there we go. Here's three names I want to throw out there. So, I like that. But I feel like he needs to do some in his division. Not that he hasn't yet, but there's three guys in his division. One that's going to be in his division and two that are already there. One is Ray Vargas, okay? There's only room for one world champion from Mexico in the same weight class, so you can't have two. There's a reason Morales and Barrera didn't like each other. You know what I mean? So, those two they have a meeting. They got to fight. Ray Vargas, oh, man, I don't know if he could beat Navarrete, though. I like Ray Vargas. He's okay, but man, I don't know, bro. That might be a little too much. And then there is Rigondeaux. Sure, he's old and his legs aren't there, but, man, we just saw Ceja in his last fight against Figueroa Cat, and Rigondeaux knocked that dude out, bro. So he still has a lot to offer. And then there's Neri. Neri cannot make 118 pounds. Okay, so he has to come to this weight class, and he's got to see Navarrete. You know what I mean? If Neri wants to show, no, it wasn't about size, and okay, they get in the ring with Navarrete. Okay, and you can rehydrate to whatever you want. Okay, so those are three opponents, but let's start with you, Reggie. What do you think about, which one of those fights would you rather see?
I'm a rock with Rigo. That's the vet. That's the legend. So I definitely got to rock with Rigo. And I think I favor Rigo as well. But I definitely want to see him to that test. He's a young champ. He needs to fight the best that's out there. And he make it through all three names you named. Man, much respect to the cat.
Yeah, man, it'll be a hell of a fight. What do you think, Stormy?
If you're talking about Navarrete fighting Rigo,
same weight class, yeah.
He takes Rigo out.
Ooh.
Do you remember that last fight that Rigo had? And the young man was doing very well.
Ceja, right?
Rigo on the inside, right? And then Rigo, with his experience, he set him up and he knocked him out. He's not going to do that to Navarrete. And Navarrete is going to overwhelm him with volume. Rigo needs space and time to do his moves, set his shots up, and this and that. That kid is not going to allow that. He's going to be right on top of him. And Rigo is aging. This is not Rigo for 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So it'll be a damn good fight. But I see as the rounds progress, Navarrete coming on.
Yeah. Well, what do you say to that, Reggie? I mean, I know you don't think maybe because he don't have his legs no more, like Rigo. You know what I mean? And Navarrete, he's not gonna stop coming, bro.
I'm still rocking with Rigo.
All right.
I'm a rock. Even though some of these dudes are way past their, I wouldn't say past their prime, but when they're up in age, a lot of these 40-year-old cats who take care of themselves, they give younger fighters some great work. And that's where these younger fighters have to prove themselves. I think this would be the best test for Navarrete, going in there with a guy like Rigo, who is a mastermind when it comes to the way he strategizes in that ring. He'll make it tough. And I think that Sejas fight was all part of his plan to stay right there and bang with the guy.
Well, real quick, Reggie, do you agree about Ray Vargas? You think Navarrete will be too much for him? Ray Vargas, that dude that beat up that Japanese cat. You know the one that thought he was Mexican.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. Him and Navarrete, I think all of it is great matchups. They just got to get in there. For me, they have to get in there, and they got to show us. They got to show and prove for us. But if he fight Rigo, man, and he can beat Rigo, I'm rocking with Navarrete through his career at this division.
And Best Fight the Best Boxing with that super chat agrees with you. It's a salute family. Oh yeah, I got Rigo power, never left him. No, bro, and people overlook the knockout of Ceja too, because people just assume like, who's the Ceja guy? I never heard of him. Like Rigo struggled with him, but like, and then you just saw like you could argue he could have probably won that fight against the Figueroa kid. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. G-Funk, do you have any thoughts about a potential fight with Ray Vargas or Rigo, and who do you think would win that fight?
Well, I think both of those fights would be pretty difficult for Navarrete. I'm not ruling him out. I think he can beat both of those guys for sure at this point. Yeah. But I mean, Rigo, yeah, he might not have the legs that he used to. For me, Rigo was never the type of guy to, really move around the ring like a Ali or something like that. I mean, he moved around the ring, but he was one of those guys that if he felt comfortable enough, he could stand right in front of you and move.
Like a mongoose against a cobra.
Exactly. Right. So I think that Rigo's style would still give someone like a Navarrete some trouble. Although again, Navarrete, he's very unorthodox, throws shots at weird angles. So that could be interesting. But I mean, man, I think he'd have a better chance right now at beating Vargas than Rigo, but I think he can beat both guys for sure, man. I don't think it's a stretch to say that he could beat both guys.
Yeah, and I think man, I've been waiting for years since the Donaire fight for somebody to give Rigo a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like give the dude a shot, bro. Right? That's all I got. Let me go over these comments really quick before we continue to the next topic. A shout out to 404 Boxing to salute, fellas. Mr. Factoid on here. Looking forward to the great show tonight. Absolutely. And I don't know what happened in the game, but G-Funk is excited right now. Look G-Funk. All right. All right. Salute DStyle, Stormy B, man, Reggie Owens, and G-Funk. What's going on, everybody? Michael Johnson Boxing and more. What's up, fellas? He says. AJ10, what's up, everyone? No Paul Boxiano, saludos, brother. He said salute, but either way. All right. Driving right now, but I'm here, brothers. Absolutely. Do not comment and drive. Okay. Like, it's okay, guys. All right. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Great channel lineup, says Z. Factoid Allen. Good use for the platform. Absolutely. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce. Navarrete is tall, long reach for his weight class. Absolutely dragon style, says E. Woodson. I mean, this dude's taking it back. Right, AJ10 says Navarrete is a great fighter. Really, really good. Caught in the last couple of fights to see Allen. Love that he's a throwback to the old fighters with that schedule. All that energy. G-Funk is showing more energy right now on mute than Andy Ruiz did in a damn Saturday, but we're going to get to that fight.
Let me tell you right now, the Kings just beat the Rockets on a buzzer beater, a 40-foot three-pointer, baby.
Cheering.
What's up?
Oh,
What's
it's
up?
a coincidence. What a coincidence that you're cheering when the Eagles score a touchdown. The Eagles score a touchdown, and he's like, yeah. Like dude's he's an Eagles fan. Look at him. All right. Anyway, just Brooklyn and DStyleBoxing to the panel listening while driving. Once again, guys, don't crash while you're listening to DStyleBoxing Live. Don't come out in the news like, oh, they couldn't help themselves. They were commenting on DStyle's video and then, crashed. Don't do that. All right. St. Nimbus Navarrete's been throwing them hands, and he fights often. 100% would like to see him whoop Vargas. Man, a lot of people are not counting Vargas. Don't forget, guys, Vargas is coached by Nacho Bernstein. They're going to have a game plan for that fight. Okay. Andrew Charles, salute DStyle panel. Absolutely. 92AQ says, what's up? David Gregory, been waiting all day for the show. Good to hear. And here we are, G-Funk84 saying salute to everybody. Look, salute to everybody. Terry Sadiz says salute. DStyle, Stormy, G-Funk, Reggie, and the chat. David Gregory, I just got here, but I read that Enrico Donaire took Neri's WBC spot for the Abali fight. I put it on the notes. If we get there, we get there. If not, I have all week to get to that for sure. But that's interesting. He might knock out Frenchie, but I mean, we'll see if we can get there. I've been working so dang much for the holidays. I think it's just moving. This is what's going on, man, and everybody. A lot of people saying what's up to each other, the whole nine. Okay, Big Dog Willis, salute to the chat and the Fearsome Four. Look at this. All right, the Fearsome Four. I like it. A lot of people got Navarrete winning those fights, by the way. Kings don't even have Fox or Bagley. I don't even know who those dudes are. But G-Funk was cheering for the Eagles, bro. I saw it, bro. Okay, you expect me to believe that's a coincidence? I'm just saying. Brooklyn DStyleBoxing is laughing at that fact. Look at this. I don't know what he was laughing at, but. And, of course, Mr. Boxing Today with those boxing gloves. And, by the way, if you want the best heavyweight boxing talk, you go to Mr. Boxing Today, too. This dude's been holding down since like 2009 or some shit like that. All right? So I'm just saying. And he says salute to the chat. All right, I finally caught up there, and I finally got to give my shout-out to everybody. Moving on here. Actually, hold on. Wait. All right. G-Funk.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. Stormy Charlo stops Hogan in 7. I thought that was a beautiful stoppage. What are your thoughts on the fight? And also, what's next for Charlo?
Oh, man. Jamal Charlo is my man. I've been, you know what? The past month and a half, I've been campaigning for this brother. The more I think about it, the more I feel like, we talk about certain guys in the sport. There's not a lot of them being special. I think Jamal is special, man. I think that he has something that is really unique in the sense that it doesn't matter the quality of opposition you put him in, he's going to look better, but he's going to look even better when you put him in against those guys that everybody's talking about. They want to see him fight. I think he got a little bit of something like Deontay about himself, about his approach to taking on opponents. Now, Hogan came out with a good plan. That plan that Hogan came out with could have possibly been successful against Mel. Now, only problem was he wasn't fighting Mel. He was fighting the bigger brother. And the bigger brother kind of knows what he's doing as far as where he is in a fight. You remember the night that they were on the same card and his brother lost, right? And the fight with Korobov, he took some shots in that fight and everything. You could tell he wasn't 100% there because of what had happened or whatever. But if he wasn't as good as he was, if he wasn't as good as he is, he could have lost that night. But he didn't. And he almost stopped the guy late in the fight, which could have happened if the other circumstance didn't take place at all. He probably would have stopped Korobov. But it was a learning lesson for both brothers, because now you could see in his approach, he was very calculating in this fight against Hogan. He allowed Hogan to show him what his plan was. I mean, you could practice for things in the gym, but you should always take a moment early in the fight to give your opponent a once over, to kind of see what he's bringing, what he's doing. And he did allow that. But if you notice, when he caught him and he did his little pirouette and rolled over and everything, Hogan was like, holy shit, you know, this guy is for real. So then he tried to become a little more mobile, which Charlo naturally knew. But then Charlo did something that he didn't expect. He started to cut the ring off on him. Whereas most guys just follow him around, he cut the ring off on him. And then when he started to land his shots from that point, Hogan felt the pressure. He didn't know what to do then. The punch that knocked him out was a beautiful punch, because he feinted like he was throwing a jab and turned it into a hook. And instead of throwing the hook wide, where guys look to put that right up to catch it or whatever, or block, he threw it inside the guard, right on the chin. Guy didn't know what hit him. It was a beautiful knockout. I love what he's doing. He listened to Ronnie Shields. Man, I can't wait for him to get in there. Bring him Triple G, bring him Andre, bring him Canelo. It don't matter. It don't matter. This kid, as soon as he's in there with someone who is going to pose the so-called threat, that's when you're going to see him take it to another level. I totally believe that. And like I said, I've been banging the drums for him for a little while now. And I hope he gets his, gets his opportunity very soon.
Check it out. Hogan was like, "What, man? What's up, mate? I could beat you." Right? That's what happened to him. Right? The dude got knocked out. He got stretched. Right? Look, man. He did a little better, not back in a straight line. But I kind of knew, man, when he was circling away from that ring, the dude was going to get caught, bro. Okay? Like, it was only a matter of time. He got caught. He got put out. I want to see him fight Boo Boo Andrade, or Boo Boo Andre, right? That's how he wants to pronounce it. And let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's just find a way to do that. Triple G, man, Triple G's been bait for a while, bro. Like, I know a lot of people are still hoping Triple G could do some, but, man, he's been bait, right? And you have any quick thoughts, Stormy, on the Korobov against Eubank's fight?
Man, I think that the reason that Korobov got injured was because he found such a home for his left hand in that first round. It was like he couldn't believe it. All he wanted to do was, it was like his left hand and Eubank's jaw was a magnet, turned against each other. When you flip a magnet over the sides and they go like that. His left kept landing home, and he was so anxious to throw it. I think he kind of overextended himself and hurt his shoulder. But it was a fight where you could see it was going to be some dynamic action, because I felt that this is how it was going to play out had the injury not occurred.
Yeah.
Korobov was going to be outpointing him easy. It's obvious that Eubank Jr. can take a shot, but that's not where he's going to make his hay trying to outbuck somebody. He's going to have to get in there and mix it up. And I thought, given another round or two, that's what was going to happen. He was going to go in there and start going for broke. And Korobov is the kind of guy that, technical-wise, because of his amateur background, he can outbox you. And because he's a southpaw, he's even extra dangerous. But those kind of guys have problems against guys who go for broke on their ass. You understand? And Eubank is unorthodox. And so he would have to go in there and turn it into a dogfight. He was not going to win a boxing match against this guy. That's why I had said that this had the potential to be a fight of the year candidate, because you're going to see one guy beating the other guy like it happened in round one. And then Eubank was going to have to bring out the guns and go for broke. And that's how I thought it was going to play out. And it's just unfortunate that the gentleman hurt his shoulder. We didn't get a chance to see a finale, but that's how I saw it going.
All right. Let's go with you. Red Jones, before that, David Graver says Korobov looked like he was about to give Eubank all he could handle. Well, things do happen after that. But how did you see that Charlo fight, man? How he set up that knockout? I thought it was a great knockout. But and then where do you think Charlo goes from here? And give us a quick thoughts on Eubanks against Korobov.
Man, I enjoy what I saw from Charlo, but I also want to give props to Dennis Hogan for taking the fight. When so many of these other dudes who hold titles running from this dude, Hogan, who's really a 154-pounder, came in this fight not to lay down. This dude really came in with the thought of trying to figure out a way to beat Charlo. And he came into the box. Hogan did not come in here to lay down, and I salute any dude, even when they're at a deficit when it comes to size and power, but you go in there and you give it your all. And even the whole plan with Hogan and with his movement is what they were stating in the buildup of. They know Charlo has his power. They need to avoid the uppercut. And Charlo ended up sneaking in one of those uppercuts. It landed, and that's when you see Hogan hit that somersault. Then with Charlo not being over aggressive, having to deal with this irky-jerky style guy who's moving a lot, he stayed very patient, very calm, and he was listening to Ronnie Shields. And why I gave him credit was because I'm not listening to the commentary, but they did a good job of going to the corner so you can hear what's going on, and hearing Ronnie Shields telling Charlo to start targeting the body, and then to see Charlo go out there and listen to the coach's game plan. I appreciate the hell out of that from a fighter, because it lets me know you're taking heed to what your coach is teaching you and what he sees, and you're trusting it along with, if you see things, you're going with it as well. And then in the post-fight, Dennis Hogan spoke about how he never saw the punch coming. He said he got hit with a punch he never saw. And it's just Charlo seeming to catch a lot of guys with these blinded type punches. And it's always a lot of power behind his punches. Even though he's coming out as a boxer, what they call a boxer puncher, he's coming out like that. So any punch he throws at you, he's looking to knock your head off. And once you feel the impact of it, if you don't take it right, your night is over with. But Hogan, what he felt from Charlo is making him move back to 154. He knows he can't campaign up here. And the thing with Charlo next for him is one of these other suckers gotta do what Hogan, stop being chumps and have heart like Hogan did. So who else holds a belt? Even Triple G can step up in there. He's supposed to be a big name at the division, even though he doesn't have anything. Get in there. Canelo's all over the place, so just gotta forget about him. But Andrade made a response. He's talking about getting up in there. He needs to step in there with Charlo. But if not, Charlo's talking about moving to 168. I don't like that. I think he'll have some issues up there at 168, in my opinion. Especially he's talking about fighting David Benavidez. That'll spell trouble. But hey, it's up for the fighter. If he wasn't willing to take the challenge, he ain't in there to lay down, then I gotta commend him for doing that. But I prefer him to be at this division where he's at, cleaning things up. But that's how bad it's got to where a fighter got to go campaign at a division he doesn't belong in, because the rest of these cats holding titles don't want nothing. And that's why I don't care about titles. I don't know nothing about these sanctioning bodies, because these belts are valueless to me, man. It's all about, we know who is the top. But the Korobov match, everything Stormy B man stated on that one is exactly what I said on that. Is the exact same thing that I seen with that one. And I thought Korobov was doing a good job of timing the hell out of Eubanks and connecting on that left hook. And that left hook was landing almost kind of at will whenever he threw it, that he ended up throwing it out of position, extending a little bit too far on it, and it looked like it tore some stuff. But that's the fight I really wanted to see, and it would have shaped out to be something real good. But hey, it is what it is. But that's all I got on that one, bro.
I hear you, man. Shout out to Joe Lopez 40 ounce. Salute to these on the panel for their dedication. Absolutely. Thank you very much. One thing we're doing on Thursdays now, towards the end of the show, you guys are able, we'll send out a link. You guys are able to come on. So if 92AQ wants to talk about who's ducking Charlo and all that, we could do it there. You know what I mean? So just so you know and all that. And there we go. All right. Yeah, you're right, G-Funk, but, I'm just saying. he was the mandatory. He could have said, "Nah, I don't want this franchise belt." He could have said that, but he didn't say that. I'm
just saying, right?
I'm not saying, but I'm saying it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. Right. G-Funk, since we're talking here, we're again the Charlo knockout. What would you like to see next? And if you have any thoughts on the Eubank Korobov fight?
Well, I didn't see the Charlo fight because I canceled my Showtime. I canceled it with when HBO stopped showing their boxing. Showtime, they just weren't showing a lot of fights. They still aren't showing many fights right now. PBC's kind of gone off to the other networks. So that's the only reason why I even had HBO and Showtime was for boxing. I got all the movies that I want to see, so don't need them for the movies. I had them for the boxing, but I did see the highlight of the knockout, and I just want to say, since I didn't see the fight, it is time for Charlo to get a name for sure, man, and I want to see him in there with somebody, whether it's Andrade, Triple G, Canelo, whoever it may be, man. It's time to find out what these guys are really made of, man. And these guys got to fight each other. I don't want to hear no excuses about who deserves the fight or who doesn't deserve the fight. Damn all that. Okay, let's not talk about that nonsense. Let's talk about seeing the fight. I want to see the fight happen between any of these guys, man. And again, I've been called a Canelo hater because I want to see him fight these dudes. And the excuse is always, well, who have these guys fought? Look, who cares about that? Because we could go down Canelo's resume and we could see a lot of guys that he fought who have they fought? What have they done? So I don't want to hear that nonsense, man. What I want to hear is I want to see Canelo in the ring with this guy. I want to see Andrade in the ring with this guy. I want to see Triple G in the ring with this guy, or whoever wants that smoke at 160. Let's get it on, man. Let's see who's the best, man. That's what I'm all about, man. I want to see the best guys fight the best guys. And to me, Charlo is one of the best guys in the division, and he deserves a shot at somebody, man. So let's just get this thing on, and let's stop talking this nonsense about who deserves what. We're not promoters. We're not paying these guys. None of us work for the sanctioning bodies. So let's just get this thing on, man. I want to see Charlo in there with some real dudes, man. I'm ready to see where he's at.
All right, there we go. That's the thing about knockouts. Like, even if you didn't watch a fight, like you'll hear, oh, he got a knockout. And we're like thirsty boxing fans when it comes to knockouts. Like, we're bloodthirsty like that. And we look for it. You know what I mean? And we got like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. We want to see knockouts in the sport.
D-Style, I have something to add about what Reggie said about him moving up to the 168 too.
Okay, go ahead and add to that, and then we're going to go to the Saudi Arabia card after that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that sometimes that's what it's take. You're right, Reggie, in the sense that these guys are always asked to do some things that they have to do to stay relative in the sport or to become what they need to be. But when somebody is special, it don't matter. You understand? It's like, and I think that this guy is, and I think that he has something in him that is reminiscent of what Wilder has in him, that he wants to fight the best so bad that it doesn't matter who they put across from him. I believe that when he faces that type of opposition, he can raise his game. And it may be very much that he has to go up to that next weight class, because we know that Benavidez, he's kind of like the name there and everything. But when you have a talent, it's just like when Holyfield jumped into the heavyweight division. Man, at cruiserweight, he was really wiping guys. And they were like, oh, he's not going to come up here and beat these big guys and this and that. Oh, he's only 206 pounds. And, Holyfield was up there whooping ass and taking names. You understand? Because he could fight. I think that Maul can fight. And he's got a damn good trainer in his corner in Ronnie Shields. And he listens to his trainer. That's what I think he has going for him. All these other guys, they take their foot off the gas. They don't work as hard. They this and that or whatever. Then here comes a guy that is like a perceived non-much of a threat because he's coming up. It's a perfect recipe for him to step up to that next level. But I'm done.
All right. Let's get to the Saudi Arabia card here. I'm going to start with you, Reggie. In regards to Michael Hunter versus Povetkin, that heavyweight fight, how do you see that fight? It did end the judges, it was a majority decision, a draw, I should say. What were your thoughts on that fight, man?
Oh, yeah, just going to my scorecard, man. I thought it was a really good fight, man. Michael Hunter got out there. He got after it. Wasn't expecting that at all. Wasn't expecting the way he came out the gate on Povetkin. He came out there and he pressed the attack, man. He rushed this dude. He messed up his knockout, though. That's the one thing he did. He did ruin his knockout when he went to go kind of do a hip toss on Povetkin and dropping him to the ground while he was hurt. And that gave Povetkin time to recover as the ref held back. Well, he couldn't count, so he gave Povetkin time to get up, time to recover in the moments when he was hurt. And Michael Hunter went right back there at Povetkin with this aggressive style. But Povetkin, he stayed calm throughout all of it, and that was kind of the cool thing I seen. But he had no offense. He couldn't get nothing off, and he was just kind of blown through in that round. And then the second round, seen good boxing from Michael Hunter, and it was just good boxing. He kind of shut Povetkin down. Then as the fight kind of went on, he went back to this kind of head-hunting type style. He got away from his boxing. That first round had him hungry, where he's just looking to try to get this guy up out of there. And the other thing Michael Hunter was doing is he was loving the power that he came in his fight with, because he hurt Povetkin several times. Povetkin had hurt him a couple of times. Povetkin ended up rocking him. I was a little bit worried. So he showed that he has a beard on him. He can take a shot, but these aren't the shots that you want to be taking at this division. A little bit too hungry. He should have got back to that boxing style. He did away with that jab when Michael Hunter can box, can utilize that jab. And that's kind of the thing that changes a fighter, is when they feel like they have some power, man, when you can drop somebody and you're just looking to get rid of them. And like I stated, he hurt Povetkin in this fight. I've found in like 4 different rounds where he hurt Povetkin, and I think he got hungry with trying to get him up out of there. But my scorecard, I ended up having this 113-115 for Michael Hunter, but the judges found it as a draw. Now, if Hunter would have got back to boxing, he could have won this fight. But I think he got a little bit too hungry for a knockout. But all in all, it's a good thing, man. But he's going to learn at this division, and he's going to have to protect that chin a little bit better, because some of these dudes are some monsters in this division.
All right. Stormy, what you think of the fight, bro?
I thought that it was a very competitive fight. Their styles meshed very well. And I believe if Povetkin wasn't 40 years old and much younger, I think it still would have been the same kind of fight because of how their styles matched up. But this is also a telling thing about the heavyweight division. When you're looking at these big guys, 6'5+, 7, 6'8", the best heavyweights are the guys that are closer to 6 foot, 6'2". They really are. But it's just that the ranginess and the weight and bulkiness of those bigger guys, it makes for a more formidable. But it just also speaks to the notion that when the smaller guys, which were basically the 6'2", 6 foot guys, when they were very skilled, Olympic champions and things like that, getting into the pros. That's why they were so dominant, because they had skills and they were in shape. If you notice, the one thing about Deontay Wilder, he has height and reach, but that weight, that 210, 220, where he's like right in there, he's right there. He doesn't need to go over that. He doesn't need to get up into the 230s and 240s and stuff like a lot of the guys. He being in those lighter weights like Holyfield was, he's very fast, very formidable. These two men are a kind of a callback to that, like the Povetkin, kind of like almost like the Tommy Morrison of the 90s. And for some reason, Hunter reminds me of Von Bean, the way he fights. Now some people might not agree with that or whatever, but Von Bean was the kind of guy that he'd sneak a shot on you, and his posture and everything was real weird and awkward and things like that, like a heavyweight a Montel Griffin or something. He was like just kind of staying low. His hands, you can't tell by the way he's positioning where the punches are going to come from. And he also takes some shots unnecessarily because of the positioning of his hands. But these two guys should run it back. I think people will watch it because they're exciting when they come together. But they are limited as far as who they can challenge and contest, because they're so much smaller than some of these guys that are at the top of the division. They need to let those dinosaurs sort things out and feast on the other levels of the guys, even like a guy like a Dillian White or something. These guys, they could handle that. But when you start getting to the Tyson Furies and the Anthony Joshuas and the Deontay Wilders, those guys 6'7" plus or whatever, it becomes difficult because you can't get beyond that reach unless you're a really skilled tactician with a punch. So that's how I see it with these guys. But I found the fight, I actually scored it 115, 113 for Hunter. I thought he had pulled it out, but it didn't surprise me that it was a draw.
Chief Funk, how'd you see this fight, bro?
Well, I had the fight scored for Hunter, 8 rounds to 4. I had a couple of rounds here on my scorecard that I marked as close rounds. Man, Hunter came out quick. He came out real quick out the gate on Povetkin. I was like, oh, man, he's trying to get this old dude out of there early. But, Povetkin is a veteran, man. He knows how to survive. He's been in there with some big punchers in this division, been in there with some of the best guys. And, he knows what he's doing, man. I believe he's a gold medalist, if I'm not mistaken. So, this guy can box, man. He can fight. He started to do some good things towards mid rounds and late rounds. Hunter was out there flashing a good, fast, strong jab. Povetkin was starting to counter that as the fight went on. He was landing some good left hooks as well on Hunter. For me, I think that real fast start that Hunter came out with kind of hurt him in the long run. To me, I felt like he was the guy who was kind of fading down the stretch. I mean, I know both guys were getting tired, but I felt like Povetkin was a little bit fresher at the end, just because I think that Hunter, he pushed it a little too hard, a little too early, I think. And Povetkin was able to survive. Hunter was, to me, looked a little bit tired towards the end of the fight. I still had him winning the fight, though. And to be honest with you, I really wasn't too mad about the draw from the judges, because I would definitely like to see this fight again. It was very entertaining, a lot of good back and forth rounds, and I enjoyed every second of it, man. I really did like it. Hunter, he's gonna have to work on some things for sure, but this was a real nice test for him against a cagey veteran in Povetkin. But I did think he deserved to get the win. But the only scorecards that count are the judges, and they saw it as a draw. But hey, let's do it again, man. I would love to see it again. But I do like Hunter as a fighter. I just think that this was a real good test for him, man. And now I think he knows what to do if they do fight again. And I will pick him to win if they do it again, for sure.
All right. Well, say, guys, segue us up to Dillian White decisioning Maran Wach. J-Funk.
Oh man, that fight was. I mean, first off, you got this guy Dillian White walking out with the bags over the shoes, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, he was definitely out of shape. Both guys looked pretty out of shape. Seemed to be a theme of the night. But yeah, honestly, I stopped paying attention to that fight around rounds 4 or 5. It just was not good to me. I was praying for a knockout. It just was not a good fight, and to be honest with you, I've lost all interest in Dillian White after the situation with Oscar Rivas. I feel like something should definitely be done about that, but that's just one of the long things on the long list of what's wrong with boxing that we could add to it, But this guy, Moran Wach or whatever his name was, this dude was big. His head was just, humongous, I don't know. I'm surprised White didn't break his damn hand in there hitting this guy in the head. But, to me, the fight was just, I didn't enjoy 1 second of it. It was just awkward. The guy was big and awkward, and White was big and out of shape. And I just didn't enjoy the fight, man. But, it is what it is, man. I guess it was their effort to try to get White back out there and try to clear his name and try to get him a big fight. So we'll see what they do with him now, man. I don't know what though.
I hear you, man. Stormy, what you think of the fight, bro?
I thought it was there for Wach to take. With White coming in out of shape. As out of shape as he was, I don't know who was worse, he or Ruiz, on that card, because you really let the sport down. You let the people who pay admission or decide to tune in on their television or whatever, when you decide to come in the ring like that. That guy was like probably, I know he weighed 270 at the weigh-in, but you eat after the weigh-in. So he was damn near 300 pounds. Dillian White. So, I don't want to see that again. I don't mean from him. I don't want to see him come in the ring like that again. If he does, he should be like penalized or something. It's like, it's just ridiculous. It's a real strong suit toward lack of professionalism. And again, from a cheat, and a guy who has like skirted around rules and regulations and things like that, and he's being allowed to come in the ring. You could slowly see him, and he's not an old guy, but just as he started to get better, he's starting to erode because he's going south with each fight, going up in weight and everything. Wach was supposed to lose this fight, and it seemed like in a couple of rounds when he was laying hands on Dillian was ready to fall down, and not so much from like just being battered or something, but a little bit of being out of shape and getting battered. So I just don't want to see it again. I think that Wach was a guy that was brought in as an opponent, and when he was doing good, it was like somebody in the audience or something with some dark shades on was probably going, no, you ain't supposed to win. You know what I'm saying? Because had White dropped that fight, it kind of messes up some things that they've got going on behind the scenes of what they want to do futuristically. So, but it was an ugly match between an out of shape dude and a guy who was brought in as an opponent. That's as much as it was. And it was ugly. It was like watching a monster movie or something. 2 dinosaurs trying to bite each other in the ocean or something. It was crazy.
What's your take, Reggie?
Man, it was a bad look for Dillian White, man. Come in on the scales at that weight was ridiculous. And that's the problem. Outside of competition, a lot of these dudes are undisciplined with their weight, and it showed. But outside of the weight thing, man, if he's gonna gain this weight, he can still maintain his showing skill. He went in here and throwing off some of the weirdest punches I ever seen. Throwing off a jab that kind of hit out like a hammer, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" He's throwing. Then he's throwing out a back fist. Just some real sloppy type ish going on, and he couldn't move. Man, this old man was this old big huge slow dude was just walloping him with some heavy punches. If that dude had a little bit more power, he would have got Dillian White up out of there. But even with Wach's work on the way I scored this fight, I had Wach winning 94-97 on my card. So I ended up thinking Wach was winning. But, hey, it's hard when you let things go to a judge's scorecard. But Dillian White's going to have to get in way better shape. And that's a bad thing for you to put on that much weight. And then the next time you go into a fight, everything's about weight cut. So he ain't going to be getting into all this working on your craft because he needs some work on his craft. He throwing punches like that. But that's all I had on that one. I thought Wach should have won that fight, but it is what it is. Dillian, get your fat ass in shape, man.
I hear you, man. You guys are tuning in to DStyleBoxing Live. This is Weekend Aftermath. And let me tell you something, bro. Right? You guys ever see, like, when you were younger, you saw the movie Aladdin, right? And it's like Arabian Night, you know, like that's what this was, bro. Because according to Anthony Joshua's own mouth, right, sticking and moving in boxing is what cowards do. That's what he said. Tyson Fury did against Klitschko, right? That he compared it to going into a kingdom and stealing the gold instead of like forcefully taking it. You know, I'm just saying. So this was like Aladdin. But with that said, right, G-Funk, Andy Ruiz stepped on the scale and he took an L. Like the scale is like taking names this year, bro. Like, what's up, Neri? Like, what's up, Gutierrez? What's up, Andy? Now, Andy, you know, he's a heavyweight, but he came in 15 pounds heavier. He said, no, you know, it's a sombrero. You know, it was just the shirt I had on. You know, I'm good. You know, I feel strong. And then after the fight, he said something. But sticking it with the scale, what were your thoughts when you saw the weigh-in?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, before he actually stepped on the scale, he didn't look too much different to me as far as his like waistline goes or his belly, you know. I expected him to be around the same weight. And then he gets on the scale fully clothed with a sombrero. And that's a big ass sombrero, by the way, probably weighed about 10 pounds. No, I'm just playing. But no, I mean, it was shocking to see that 283 because to me just didn't look 283. It didn't look the same as he did for the first fight. Obviously, we saw that was not the case during the fight. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what made it so shocking to me was because seeing him, especially there was somebody had just posted a picture of him the day before with his shirt off, and again, it looked the same as he did the first fight. So that was shocking to me to see that. But you know, he came in heavy and made excuses. You know, I don't know if you want to talk about that now or not, but you know.
Well, look, here's my thing. Like, of course, if you look at him, oh, he's still fat. I mean, he's always been fat. You know what I mean? But looking at this picture, bro, no definition in his arms. Like, that's what I noticed. Okay? Because there's been other weigh-ins where the dude, his arms look defined at least. Like, and then people thought, well, he's putting the tank top on to like disguise it and play mind games. And the dude was just embarrassed, bro. The dude he literally didn't take off his shirt until like you had to, like before the bell rang. And then I saw him like, oh my God. And I am telling you, bro, If you look up Andy against Derenchenko just this year, like back at I believe it was either April or March. Okay, I mean, of course, he's still a chubby dude, but he looked in a lot better shape than he looked against Joshua. Which is astonishing, which tells me a lot. I guess what I'm trying to get at is this: did Andy Ruiz? I mean, he already admitted to it, Chief Funk, but did he party too much, and did he let you down, me down, everyone else who went for him down?
Absolutely, he did. This guy, man, this guy had a huge opportunity in his hands to do something major in the sport right here. I mean, not only did he become the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, which was history and big for Mexican boxing because, we have a rich history in this sport. And for him to be the first one to do that was big. Had an opportunity to go in there and defend the title, and not only defend it, but go on and do possibly undisputed in the next year. And he just let it go. Couldn't discipline himself enough to push the plate away. So it's very disappointing, man. Not only for that, but for the sport in general, because I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Joshua now because we're talking about Ruiz, but we know that he's not gonna fight nobody, man. So that's what makes it real disappointing. At least we have a better chance of Andy Ruiz fighting Wilder or Fury if Fury happens to win that fight than Anthony Joshua. So that just makes it even more disappointing, because I'm the type of fight fan that I don't make excuses for fighters. I don't make excuses for certain fighters just because I like them or whatnot. I want to see undisputed, man. And we were this damn close to getting it, man. And this guy blew it at the scale, man.
Look, I said it yesterday. I said this. I did a video about it, so I don't want to dive too much into it, right? But it's just ironic that Andy Ruiz won the title in the tail end of spring, right before the summer started, and then lost it at the tail end of fall, right before the winter. And the mood of it describes everything. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys. I hate the winter. Okay. I hate having this runny nose right now. Okay. I hate the feeling outside, the damn weather and shit. It's depressing. All right. I love the summer. All right. I love spring break. I love all that. Okay. And I think Andy Ruiz let a lot of people down, but I mean, it's just ironic that he got this opportunity in spring where everything's growing and blooming and the summer starts and it's vibrant. And then fall starts, the leaves are falling and this dude's falling apart. I mean, he let a lot of people down. And one thing I wanted to kind of go to you, Stormy, was in regards to the this is the irony. Speaking of, there's so much irony in this shit. I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, how ironic is it, Stormy, that 15 pounds, the same weight that Buster Douglas was over? You know what I mean? And it's a very similar story, right?
It's almost like it's scripted, isn't it? It's just it's like, let me tell you something. When I saw the first fight and I saw how it ended, that was not a fluke, because the loser didn't have what it takes to defeat the man who was the victor in that fight. The difference being, in the rematch, the man who was the victor in the fight didn't show up. One thing that I listened to, and I've commented on this myself, and I've made my own video about it, was that Andy told us something after winning the first fight. He said, I was able to make all my dreams come true. What that said, and we weren't listening when he said it, was I've accomplished all my goals. I've done what I was here to do, and that's all, folks. That's basically what that was. And we misread it because we were caught up in the hoopla. We were caught up in the fact that there had been a shift in the paradigm at the top of the division. And maybe now we could get a little closer to seeing what we wanted to see, and that's an undisputed champion. But pump the brakes, ladies and gentlemen. When a man is content, okay, when he's blown his wad, okay, when he was a 2-minute brother, okay, that's it. That's all he got. You can poke him. She can say, come on, honey, one more time. He done shot his bulk, man. That's it. Now, the shame comes now, but it's on him. You don't feel sad for him because he made all his dreams come true. The only thing that you can take away from this is that if you have dreams, goals, ambitions for yourself, make sure that you set your ideals lofty enough that even when you get close to them or you attain them, there is something beyond that to keep your energies, to keep your flames stoked so that you can thrive and continue on in life and persevere. Because if you're ready to stop right there, you might as well die. There's nothing else to do. You understand? You could see he tried to eat himself into a coma and in the boxing ring. If he would have turned about and fell out from a heart attack, everybody been talking about the tragedy it is. Okay? And I'll tell you something. That might sound a little extreme. Somebody out there in the chat or who's out there listening, they may say, oh, Stormy going too far. You got kids in high school falling dead from heart attacks on football field, on the basketball court. Okay, it can happen. This is why you get your ass in the gym, Andy, because you're a professional. You're already putting your life at risk by participating in the sport that you're participating in. But the mere fact that you all passed off this notion that you were losing weight and you felt like, oh, you were too weak, that was all BS because you weren't even in the gym to fucking lose weight. Be a damn professional, man. That's the very least you could do. You had people who were supporting you, people who applaud you because you were representing something that people pull for every day. For the guy who is not the favorite, for the guy who is the little guy, for the guy who gives somebody courage and ambition and incentive. I could do that too. And you took all of that and shoved it down your throat into your belly. That's disgraceful, man. The only thing you can do now is rededicate yourself. And you're going to have to start all over from the beginning and rebuild blocks. And if you're not interested in doing that, go sit your ass down somewhere. But let me leave with this last thing. Accomplishing all your dreams and making them come true. If it is all built and contingent upon the material, just understand this. As quickly as it came, it can go away. Where will you be then? That's it.
Well said, man. And let me tell you something before I go to you, Reggie. All right? And I want everybody to look at me, okay? You know that story of David versus Goliath? You guys know that story? because people compared it to this. Okay. Oh, Goliath and David beat Goliath. No one, it's not in the Bible. You're not going to find it. Okay. No one talks about what happened in the rematch. Okay. Oh, but what do you mean, DStyle? He beat him with a slingshot. But let me tell you, in the rematch, Goliath grabbed the slingshot and he beat David with it. Okay. That's what happened in the rematch. And that's what happened in this fight. Okay. Because David decided to get fat. All right. And not show up this time. But Reggie, what you think of this fight, man? Like, what are your thoughts, bro? Or not the fight. I apologize. What's your thoughts on the actual performance? You know, for what am I talking about? The weigh-in. I apologize. The weigh-in. What are your thoughts on the weigh-in, man? How Andy came in?
I wasn't shocked by it. I wasn't shocked at all. I seen it, man. That's why I follow these guys' footprint on social media. Wasn't shocked at all. That's what I was saying. Soon as all you see with this dude hanging out, partying, all these new people around him, having a time of his life. As soon as he touched ground in Saudi Arabia, all you see is food. When he got on that scale, 283, I wasn't shocked by it. And then people was looking like he doesn't look like it. The dude's holding his stomach in. He tightened the hell out of his stomach, trying to make it look fit. That stomach didn't match the way his damn body dimensions look. He wasn't doing that many sit-ups. He was sucking that shit in. That's why when you seen him get in the ring and he had to breathe and untense his stomach muscles and it all folded out. I wasn't shocked by it at all, man. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you lose sight of things, man.
But this is crazy. You think he was embarrassed, Reggie? You think that's why he didn't take off the tank? He wasn't taking anything back. I don't even saw the interview where he claimed he was in the 260s in the morning, and the interviewer asked him, "So you gained like that much weight?" Like, and he just said, "Yup. Well, I had the sombrero and." Like, what? Why was he? It reminds me of the dude from last week. Like when you step on the scale, you're gonna be 11 pounds over, right? Ruiz knew you're gonna take off that shirt, bro. Right? And you guys got to see the side by sides. I know you still see a fat guy and all that. For his standards, he was over, guys. Right? But you think he was embarrassed, Reggie?
Oh, hell yeah, he was. Hell yeah. And it was all based on he knew he wasn't going to perform in this ring. And if he didn't come through and what's coming out now of what he didn't do, it's embarrassing. He was better off just letting the fat show. Couldn't nobody, they would have told by what was on the scale, but all you trying to tense up your muscles to look fit, that's the most played out, embarrassing shit right. That right there is embarrassing. And and then what's coming out of it, man, this dude, he's gonna be on the wall of shame. He's gonna be ducking away from the public for a while he want to floss in the rows and go out everywhere. He ain't doing none of that. Where he can think he can get in some of these A-list parties they was getting in before. They're gonna say, "Fool, you ain't on the list. Get up out of here." He ain't got access to nothing. And that's what he's gonna realize. It was all a mirage. These folks you've been around been fake since day one when they start trying to get around you. He was an easy tool to use to push a product.
Look at that. The side by side. Okay.
That remind me of that scene from The Sopranos when Paulie Walnuts was looking over at the two fat dudes standing, and he's like, "Take a look at that." And you took a picture of Andy back in the June fight, and in this fight, you say before and way before.
Yeah, but like people are saying, well, Andy's always been fat. Guys, you're telling me you don't see a difference? Like, that was in April, right? You could actually see, dude, this dude looked like a walrus. You couldn't see any of his neck, bro. Like, here you could actually see some of it. Look at this. Totally different. But you want to know the difference between those two Andys? Right? One Andy, okay, one of them, right, was hungry. And I don't mean hungry for food, like for success. Okay. One Andy was thinking about quitting boxing because he wasn't making any money. Okay. The Top Rank thing didn't. I mean, Bob Arum gave up on him, called him a fat slob, and this, that, and the third. And then he was given an opportunity by Al Heyman. Okay, come over here to PBC. All right, they put him against Shevchenko, and all of a sudden Andy came in pretty good shape. Like he's always been a fat guy. I'm not saying he's not going to come with a six pack, but he came like energized. He was attacking the body. Made Shevchenko quit. He made this dude quit on the stool, right? And then he was already in boxing shape. So when the Gerald Miller popped dirty, and he said, "Oh, I'll fight him," right? People forget he was calling out Kawanaski before that. He's like, "Give me Kawanaski. I'll fight him next," right? He was thinking, "I want to work my way up the ladder." And then an opportunity of a lifetime. You're giving a title shot because someone else blew their shot. And you come in as an opportunist, no problem with it, okay? First of all, you came in a little heavier in the Joshua fight. They did the Shevchenko fight. Okay, but fine. It was only a couple pounds, right? And we saw the results. But now, $7 million, Rolls Royce and mansions and all that. Like, I'm just saying. And I knew a lot. Like when he took the money over the location, when he agreed to the Arabian Night location, I thought that was a little alarming, but I still had I was still thinking, you know what? I could still roll with this. I could still roll with Andy. But then I kept moving the goalposts myself. Like, I don't know if this dude's going to win. I don't know if he's motivated. And before we get to the actual fight, what was disappointing was that, look, a lot of people in my family didn't watch the first fight. They heard about it. It was one of those like what? A heavyweight world? What? Like, it was just one of those things, And then they were like, wow. A lot of people believed in Andy Ruiz. A lot of people believed, like, man, this dude's going to bring it. You know how many disappointed people there were? You know how many people were disappointed? Like, he let down a lot of individuals. Okay. So, I want to know where all the people saying that I was hating on Andy because I was calling for him to start training. I had the interview. I played it on my channel a couple months ago. Okay. It wasn't done by me, but by a friend of mine, and I played it on my channel. Okay. Where Manny Robles was like, dude, I need to get this dude out of here. Like he's like, it's cool that he's amongst the people, but it's time to like go train. You don't think his trainer knows him? He knows him. Like, I got to take this dude to Big Bear. Okay? Go somewhere. And it's what fighters do. Lennox Lewis used to go to the Poconos and shit. Okay? He would go isolate himself. Some fighters need that. Andy Ruiz obviously needs that. The disappointing part about this is the following, okay? I mean, talk about shades of Chris Arreola, right? Chris Arreola, another Mexican heavyweight, okay, that was out of shape. And then when he was like undefeated and winning, everybody thought it was funny. Oh, but it's all right. That's Arreola. He likes pizza and Coronas and this, that, and the third. And the dude started crying and sobbing like a little child after Vitaly beat his ass. And he was promising everyone he's going to lose all this weight. I'm going to take this serious now. Started coming in heavier for his fights after that. And it's not about winning and losing, right? It's about, did you maximize your chances to win? All right? Andy Ruiz is just a more talented version of Arreola. That's all. That's it. He's just more talented than him. That's why he got a little further. That's about it. But that's all I got to say. Reggie, I want you to segue us to the actual fight itself and the aftermath of it, because this is aftermath. You know what I mean? What's going to happen, bro?
Man, but the fight, man, woo, this kid messed up everything. But with the fight, man, it started out to where AJ just got right to it. He got right to his boxing. It was effective. He maintained that range. the heavyweight and slow feet of Andy Ruiz cannot close anything, couldn't close the distance. AJ whipped out that nice jab, and that was the when I seen that jab, I said AJ's on to something. And that trim weight, AJ going in there, taking training camp serious, locking in, keeping everyone away from him, shedding that unnecessary muscle. He went in here and he blazed through this game plan. He blazed through it. The boxing was perfect. Him being able to maintain range. And even when he was trapped, there was moments because he's doing all this side-to-side lateral movement to where he's circling around. He puts himself in a bad spot to where Ruiz kind of had the ring cut off and had him trapped in a corner, but couldn't do anything. And what does AJ use to back him up? Use a good jab, due to the weight being up off him, all that muscle being up off of Joshua. Joshua can squat down, roll up, and escape from out those corners, bringing the fight back to the ring. Him being fluid, he had great agility inside that ring, opening that cut in the first round, landing that right hand. And as the fight started to go on, and he's seen that Ruiz wasn't the same fighter from the first fight, he starts taunting this dude. That's how comfortable he got in the ring. Sticking his tongue out at the dude, taunting him, laughing at him, dropping his arms, playing around, start feeling like Ali, bouncing around in that ring. And he just clowned and style on Ruiz the whole fight. I think, where's my card at? I think I only gave Ruiz, what round I give Ruiz? I only gave Ruiz one round, and that was the 8th round, because that's the round that AJ ended up taking off, trying to go into the clinch. And AJ did a smart job, almost what I envisioned the fight to play out like, working that jab, sticking the jab. Anytime they fell in the close, go to grab him in the clinch, and he worked it to perfection. Ruiz had moments in there where he was able to score inside the clinch, but it was nothing. Even when he hit Joshua with some of those punches, Joshua took him. I didn't see Joshua get hurt not once. Yeah, he reacted to when he got hit with some of those punches, possibly out of fear that he'll get caught with the same punch from the first fight. But other than that, Ruiz's punches had no effect on the guy. And he just returned right to his boxing, just sticking and jabbing on this dude, moving around. Then you hear what Ruiz said, he couldn't return the combination variations because his arms were tired. And this is what his father says following the fight. The dude put on way too much weight. Now what happens is this fool had a love affair with that check he got in that first fight. And he forgets that you have to stay in the winning column for those checks to roll in. Now you got your last payday. You ain't going to never see money like this again. And it showed what the importance of being a champion held behind it, because it held power for negotiations. You're the A side when it comes to money making. And not only that, when you went into winning these, to being a champion, you would have had all the support behind you. You would have been a goddamn pay-per-view star. You probably would have been something bigger than Canelo at the current state right now. And this is what you took for granted. You messed all that mess up. You ain't gonna even be on a pay-per-view undercard. And this is because you lost sight, and the disrespect he showed his trainer, the disrespect he showed his father by not showing up to camp. You got other folks who ain't got nothing to do with the sport of boxing training you. And every time you see them on Instagram, that was the thing I was tripping off. I'm like, I'm always seeing all these young folks around him. I'm like, dang, where's Manny Robles? So explains he's doing his own training camps, got new people following him around, and you didn't show any of that because you took it for granted. You flossing on here like you Mayweather. You ain't earned these Mayweather checks. You get one check and it show who your true character is. That's the way you really show the character of a weak person. You either introduce a beautiful chick around him, money, or you put drugs in place of him. And when a man can't control himself, it really shows how weak he is, and he's a glutton to life. And that's why I'm gonna keep calling him. He's a straight up glutton, and it's the reason why he failed at this, man. He is. Hopefully he gets smarter with his money, and that's the thing I was listening to his father's state, that he needs to start, because his dad said what he does with his money, he buys property and build on them. He said Ruiz is set out here buying Rolls Royces and different mansions. These mansions come with expenses. You got to keep this shit up. And now you may end up selling them because these checks are not coming in. You didn't pissed off Al Heyman with this performance. Al Heyman had to be pissed off like the rest of us at this damn weigh-in. You didn't jacked up the whole generational wealth that was set and planned for you because you didn't come in here ready to go to task. Like, you ain't meant to be a champion. You are not meant for this level. After one shot, it's gone. Opportunities don't come around like this. And this is what this young fool took for granted. You've been struggling. And it's the crazy thing. For you to have been struggling in this sport for opportunities, and the minute they throw a check to you, it F you up. And he deserves everything he's got. So you would have been a pay-per-view star. Food and hanging out with the homies was more important than that. You could have been $100 millionaire, or earned up to $100 million in the short term of your career. All that shit gone. What he's gonna earn about 20 million, and that's about it. It's no telling where he's gonna go with his career from now. And on top of that, even before he goes forward, best believe he's about to deal with this depression right now. You best believe he's about to go through a state of depression for a while, and now you have to see how he gets over it. And if he's going through depression, what I see Juan Fu put in, he's definitely gaining 400 pounds. Off top, he gonna balloon up, because that depression thing from suffering this defeat, when reality sets in on him, it's gonna hit Andy Ruiz hard as ish. But that's all I got on this. Is he's a damn fool. He's probably one of the biggest fools you've seen, because the potential was so sky high for this dude, and he effed it up trying to play like he's a retired billionaire. He fooled himself.
I got you. What are your thoughts, Stormy?
Man, it's like, as we talk about this,
I apologize, really quick. Make sure you guys throw a jab at that like button. Let's get those likes up. Make sure it turns blue. All right. Go ahead, Stormy. Apologize.
No, it's okay. As I was listening to what Reggie was saying, and it's like we could dissect it and analyze it a million times, but I'm not so high. And I've heard some people today say, what the job that AJ did. It still comes down to what Andy didn't do. First and foremost, Andy didn't get in shape. That fight would have been easier for him to win in the rematch than it was in the first fight. And I'll explain myself. Anthony Joshua is a fragile person psychologically. He needs people pumping him up all the time, telling him, building his confidence up all the time, putting him in a proper place mentally. Anybody who saw him, and I've watched fighters, I've been in the locker rooms with them, getting their hands wrapped and stuff like that, getting prepped to go out and get on stage. Watching that man get his hands wrapped, he had a look on his face that told me everything I needed to know about what he was facing. He wasn't confident about what he was about to face. But once he got in there and he saw that the opponent had nothing to offer, his confidence grew as the rounds went on. Even still, when he got touched, he reacted the same way as he did in the first fight. And it was so infrequent that he was able to survive. He survived for 12 rounds. He didn't go out there and whoop Andy Ruiz's ass. He did not. He went out there and outscored him and moved away and stayed safe. Oftentimes, that's not enough to win a fight. We saw Tony Harrison do that against Jamel Charlo when Charlo was pursuing him and going after him, and he was just basically jab, playing keep away and moving. And he won a decision. So imagine what could have happened if Ruiz was in shape and could get in there and let his hands go. He wasn't cutting the ring off. He was basically turning around the ring like this. Like he was stuck in mud. He couldn't get in anything going because he was out of shape. And people thought that Joshua was putting on some kind of wonderful boxing exhibition. Fuck no, he wasn't putting on a damn wonderful boxing exhibition. He was in there fighting a man with his hands tied. Don't talk that bull crap, because when you watch a boxer, you look at Luis Ortiz when he was fighting Deontay Wilder. Luis Ortiz was boxing. And you can argue the fact that he was outboxing Wilder a little bit early on before he got caught. But he was boxing. That's not what AJ was doing. He was playing keep away. He hit the man with a right hand in the first round and opened up a cut on his eye and never went after the cut to possibly get a TKO because he didn't want to get close to him. But this is boxing. You got to put your hands on the motherfucker. Huh? This ain't slap boxing like kids do out in the street and you run around the ring and shit, stick your tongue out. Catch me if you can, I'm the gingerbread man. What the fuck? People pay for tickets for this shit. Anthony Joshua was scared to death. And all Andy had to do was show up to show out. He could have made this man's greatest fears become a reality. Within a couple of rounds, the boy would have quit. I guarantee you, he would have quit. The resignation was on him. Walking to the ring, standing across the ring. He looked like a fucking zombie. He didn't know what to expect. And when he saw that the opponent wasn't offering anything, then he got brave. And he really didn't get brave until the last couple of rounds. That's when the tongue sticking out and all of that came into play. And Andy was just as bad by pounding his chest in the 12th, talking about, come on and fight me. If he had done just that in the first 2 rounds, Anthony would have shit himself. Because he would say, damn, even overweight, this guy, he really wants my ass. You understand? But again, boxing being anywhere from 70 to 90% mental. Okay? This is what you're looking at right here. A fucking mental basket case in Anthony Joshua, and then a person who has issues, whatever they may be, Andy Ruiz, because he was not himself as far as being in there fit to fight. So you had one guy who couldn't fight and the other guy who wouldn't fight. How many guys are going to let Anthony Joshua get away with that shit when their coaches get a hold of them and get their ear in the gym and say, look, that dude ain't confident at all. Go out there, get inside, hit him on his chin and knock him the fuck out and let's take his belts and go home. That's what can happen to him. He's not a true champion. He was always put in positions for things to be laid out before him. He ain't won shit. He fought a dead man. Let's see him fight some. These young guys, the Dubois and all of them, they can whoop AJ's ass right now. They can whoop him right now. And you can bet believe they're going to stay the hell away from him. They're going to stay with guys who are going to conform to the script. Maybe Pulev, of course, Dillian White. Those guys are on the take. And they'll go out there and put on the show for AJ and take that money under the table. And this farce, this circus will keep going. But they're going to stay so far away from Deontay Wilder, you can bet believe they ain't thinking about that. And poor Andy, he could have had an opportunity of a lifetime. Because even if he had won this fight, went into something with Wilder, even if he loses, he still has status. He still has stature. He still has that name. All of that is for naught now. And this guy is going to be parading around like he's the best thing since sliced bread. Talking about 2 times. This is crazy, man. But I'm going to tell you this. He was a dead man walking, and they didn't do nothing to him. But it ain't going to happen that way when there's plenty more banana peels out there for him to slip on. And it'll happen sooner than you believe. I'm done.
And G-Funk, what did you think about Joshua's performance against Andy Ruiz, or just the fight in general, actually? What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that I did score the fight for Joshua. So I'm not on here to say that Ruiz won the fight or anything like that. I know there's a few people expecting me to say that, but no, he didn't win the fight.
He didn't run like a chicken. You don't want to do the
hey, don't let me call him, bro. All right, now. But the first thing I want to say is that, you know, as soon as the event started, I mean, there was so much rain coming down, and that ring was so damn big. I thought they were fighting on Noah's Ark. I mean, Jesus, man, that thing was huge. And now we know why it was so huge, so that this guy could move around the ring from Andy Ruiz. But, oh, man, so many things I could go into. this DAZN commentary, my God. Stormy B, man, I got to give you some credit, man. You came on my live stream and you told me to turn down the volume because of copyright. But you know what, man? Next time, I'm turning it all the way down, man. This commentating was an absolute abomination, man. I mean, almost made me sick to my stomach hearing the commentators, man. It was ridiculous. But just, I agree with a lot of things that Stormy B said. Joshua comes out right away, and establishes that he's going to move around the ring and box tonight, right? He cuts Ruiz in the very first round with a beautiful right hand, right on the money, splits him wide open. The next round, Ruiz comes out and cuts him. So, it's tit for tat at this point for me. But just like you said, Stormy B, this guy was so afraid to sit down on any punches that the cut literally remained the same the rest of the fight. I was actually a little bit worried that the cut happened so early in the damn fight that he was going to get stopped. Like, I thought it was going to be another Tyson Fury situation. But it never got to that point because, Joshua just didn't go after the cut. He didn't want to let his hands go like that because, as we saw, every time there was an exchange, he was getting clipped. He did get hurt a couple of times in there. You could tell he was in there grabbing and clinching after getting hit by some counter shots from Ruiz. But, I want to say around round 6, I think that round 6, 7, Joshua, to me, started to get a little bit tired. That's what I noticed. He went to the grab tactic because early in those first 6 rounds, he was doing more moving around the ring, jabbing, and getting points and putting rounds in the bank. As where those later rounds started to come in is when he started to go to the clinch game, and then that's when Ruiz finally started to let his hands go a little bit, and you could tell he was hitting him with some hard shots every time Joshua was coming in to try to clinch, he was hitting him. But I just I agree with what Stormy B said again, man. Joshua came in here to survive 12 rounds, man. He came in to survive 12 rounds, and it is what it is, man. But I had the fight 115 to 113 for Joshua. I gave 5 rounds to Ruiz. I know a lot of people, like Reggie said himself, 1 round. I mean, that's just crazy to me, man. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what you were looking at. These guys talking about a master class of boxing. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not.
But hold on, Reggie. I'm next.
He won the fight. He won the fight. And it was not a masterclass. To me, a masterclass is what Sergio Martinez did to Chavez Jr. A masterclass is what Mayweather did to Canelo. A masterclass is what Barrera did to Nassim Hamed. Those are masterclasses right there. Joshua went in there and played it very, very safe, and he got the win. I'm not trying to sell anybody that Joshua didn't win. I'm not trying to sell anybody that Ruiz won the fight. I just didn't see this big wide margin that a lot of people saw. To me, Joshua gave away a couple rounds by doing literally nothing. But the hate for Ruiz after this fight, man, I mean, the win just really did something to people, man, because some of the things that I'm hearing are just, coming off the wall, man, with some of the things that I'm hearing. Now, he deserves criticism for not taking the fight seriously. He deserves criticism for coming in so fat and out of shape. Definitely. But the thing is, people aren't attacking that. They're just bringing up stuff that had literally nothing to do with the fight. I don't know what it was about this guy's victory over Anthony Joshua the first time, but it really brought out some bad spirits in people. And I just don't understand it. But this is the last thing I'm going to say before I close out. I'm going to hold all you guys, all you Joshua fans out there, I'm going to hold you guys consistent here, man. Because you guys want to talk this masterclass stuff and this boxing stuff when you already brought it up earlier, D-Style. The man criticized the hell out of Tyson Fury when he beat Vladimir Klitschko. He said the guy ran. That's not how you win fights. I mean, it's exactly what he did here. It's exactly what he did here. So if this is what you're gonna go with, right? Then stay consistent. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. Okay? If it's running then and it's not running now, Be consistent, man. That's all I'm saying. But Joshua gets the win. Will they fight again? I have no idea. We'll see. From what I'm hearing and from what I'm reading, it looks like he's going to fight Usyk or Puev or God knows who. But it's disappointing because we're not going to see Undisputed. We all know that. Honestly, I don't even think he wants to fight Tyson Fury if Fury happens to beat Wilder. But yeah, very disappointing, man, because we had a lot of things that could have happened with the Andy Ruiz victory. But he has no one to blame but himself. Literally nobody to blame but himself. And just like you said in your video that you came out with yesterday, DStyle, the built-in excuse, why even bring it up then? Don't sit there in front of the cameras and say, oh, I'm not going to make excuses, but, you know, then don't say it. Just give Joshua his credit. Say, look, he won tonight. I'll come back. We can fight again. He was the better man tonight. That's all you had to say. Don't make damn excuses after the fight, man. You have nobody to blame but yourself for that, man. So I'm done with that. You guys can go ahead.
All right, check it out. First, let me go piece by piece here. I mentioned it earlier in regards to what Joshua said. Like, AJ fans need to acknowledge that. Like, you need to acknowledge that AJ himself spoke out against that, you know, safety first style. Like, he spoke out against it. Like, he himself said that's not a way of warrior fights, and he said that. That's not what DStyle said, or like, he literally said that. It's you guys got to believe what you hear, right? I get it, right? So 100%, he's maybe, but like I was listening to Mr. Boxing Today too earlier, and he said, you know what, a good ass whooping will change your mind. You know, and that's exactly what happened. A good ass whooping changed his mind about that. Okay. But here's what I'll say. So in regards to the fight, it's clear to me that the game plan was to stay away, utilize the jab, land a right hand here and there. When he gets close, try to hold him. And I kind of already knew the ref was not going to allow any inside fighting, and you kind of saw that right away. Okay, but at the same time, Ruiz wasn't doing anything about it. Like, he didn't have the energy to do anything. I'm not exactly sure this style's going to work. There was a lot of excessive movement by AJ, but we do have to keep in mind this is the first time that he's implemented this style from start to finish, right? And there's a couple things we need to keep in mind. One, a lot of people did not believe AJ could pull that off, and he did, right? We could talk about what Andy Ruiz didn't do, but that's not AJ's fault. All AJ could do is go out and do his fight, and he did that, right? So I'm going to give him credit for doing what he did, right? I do believe he landed some good right hands. There was some good hooks in there. The uppercut, once again, in the back of a milk carton. Nowhere to be found, but more likely he didn't want to commit to it just like the first fight, okay? But he didn't have to. Like, I gave Andy Ruiz 2 rounds in this fight. 2 rounds. That's all I gave him. In the entire fight. And if Andy Ruiz doesn't force AJ to do anything else, why would AJ do anything else? And I have to be honest, I have a hard time criticizing the fighter that did not need to make the adjustments. The one that needed to make the adjustment was Andy Ruiz. And Andy Ruiz decided that he prefers tacos to road work, right? Andy Ruiz decided, all right, that partying is more important. Okay, being at the club and all that is more important than the boxing gym, right? Andy Ruiz made that mistake. Andy Ruiz made those decisions. He thought, and I heard many people saying, the weight's not going to matter. Andy Ruiz is going to go in there and just blow this dude away and this, that, and third. We need to acknowledge that didn't happen. Like, we need to stop and acknowledge that did not happen. Like, at the end of the day, the dude got the job done, right? Did I like the way Floyd Mayweather fought against, Carlos Baldomir? No, I don't like the way he fought against Carlos Baldomir, but I can't criticize him for it. He won virtually every round, right? There's a lot of fighters that fought in ways that were not pleasing to watch. And look, to be honest with you, smaller boxers, like smaller weight, they look more polished than the heavyweights. You're going to look better doing it. I mean, it's just the truth, right? But I think, look, here's a spectrum I fall in, okay? Do I think AJ looked terrible? No, I got to be honest. No, I don't. Do I think he looked like, was masterclass the first word that came to mind? No, it wasn't. But he did outpoint Ruiz. He did outbox Ruiz, and he did more than just jab. He did land some hooks. He landed some right hands, and Ruiz had no answers whatsoever. Nothing. He had no answers for Anthony Joshua, right? So was it masterclass? No, but he did. He did outbox him. I mean, he did beat him in that sense. I don't know, I cannot in any way, bro. I watched that fight 3 times. I can't give Andy Ruiz more than 2 rounds. I just can't. I can't do it. And I can't sit here and say, I gave 10 rounds to AJ, but I think he looked terrible. I don't know if that's the right word. I got to be honest. I think he looked all right. Okay, I'll say that. All right. He was all right. Right? You know what I mean? But I'll say what I said yesterday. This style, and I want to go to you, Reg. This style, okay, it's not going to work with every fighter. Okay? Because Andy Ruiz, I got to keep it real with you guys. When I saw AJ, that looked like a poor man's version of Vladimir Klitschko. Right? Because Klitschko implemented that style for years under Emmanuel Stewart. This was AJ's first time trying it. So he looked like a poor man's version of doing it. But I think even though it was his first time trying it and it was effective, so I got to be honest, I don't know if Ruiz came in shape. Ruiz doesn't have the fastest feet in the world. Okay? He has fast hands, but his feet aren't that fast. If someone can implement that style, Ruiz, it's going to be problematic, right? But what do you think, Reggie? Can he keep utilizing that style, or do you foresee him putting on the muscle mass and going back to the way he used to fight?
No, this style is good, man. That's why I want to go back to the safety style first. I disagree with all that. This is the perfect style you have to use. It's the sweet science. When you're in the guy who gave you, who created havoc for you by hitting you with heavy punches, and you can't be in there engaging with him, you go right to end the boxing, and that's the effective thing that he did. It looked good. Now his first time using it, he's gonna tighten up on it. It'll become more effective. It's a style he may have to use. You gotta have different styles. You gotta be able to go into your bag of tools, and this is a new tool he has in the bag. It looked effective against the guy that he boxed against, Ruiz. That's what he did, was a clear-sided shutout. It was effective. It was the thing he needed to use. Now, to call it running style, far from it. And if it is, can cause something's called a running style, it's up to the opponent to shut it down. Now, the opponent has to be smart enough and in great shape to shut down a fighter that's using what is boxing and not running. So effective boxer is sticking and moving. And if you can't shut it off, then that's on you, because boxing ain't always about knockouts. It ain't always about engaging. When you can't, if you're in there against somebody who can knock you out, greater power than you, you ain't going to stand in front of them, engage with them. You're going to pull some trick out. Hopefully you have it, and you can sit up there and you can box him. And that's what he did against Ruiz. Now against these other guys, he can mix it in. Everything's about being dynamic. You mix in and letting things flow. You pull it in, you pull it out, and he may have to use it. But to me, like I always said, AJ can fight. Now he lacks the heart for one guy. Now going in here, he can go into a Tyson Fury fight because AJ still has power. He can go in there against the Tyson Fury, and I think he knocks Tyson Fury out, because Tyson Fury is losing some things. Tyson Fury ain't the same Tyson Fury we done seen with great footwork and great mobility. He's losing all that. And one reason why he's losing that is because he deals with this weight fluctuation shit. He doesn't stay in shape throughout the year, and it's going to cost him. He's losing many steps. So AJ utilizing this boxing with setting up his punches, because the guy can punch, and he wouldn't have the fear that he had of this guy, because it's all mental, the psychological thing. He's in the guy who did what he did in the first fight. So of course the fear is there, but he got through it, and he clowned his way through it with great effective type boxing, not no running style. He boxed this dude's head off like he was supposed to. He'd be a damn fool if he sat in there to exchange with Andy Ruiz. So Andy Ruiz is fought for not changing the dynamic of it and forcing him and taking away his boxing. He didn't neutralize any of AJ's boxing. That's on him. And any other fighter who sits in there with somebody who boxes their heads off, that's on the opponent. So that's why it's important and it's highly critical to always be in shape and to have footwork. So, but the other guys, the top tier guys, AJ may have some success, but him getting there with Deontay Wilder is the only test he's supposed to be in there with to show if his skills can match up, because Deontay Wilder is just as athletic as him, and he's just as tall. So it's going to be hard to do all that escaping, but he may have success. AJ can fight. Can't take that from him. But
I want to read a quick. This is what Lennox Lewis said on Twitter. He said, I understand that people want blood, but as a fighter, you have to be disciplined enough to wait for the opportunities to open up. Sometimes they don't come. When that happens, you play it safe and you stick to the game plan. Do you agree with that, Reggie?
Hell yeah, I do. Because that's basically what I was saying. Hell yeah. And Lennox is almost like a PhD to the sport. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. But that's all I got.
He also said, I've always spoken the truth. When I praised AJ, it was the truth. When I've criticized him, it was also the truth. Seems that when we agree, it's truth. When we don't, it's bitter hater. You will never find peace this way. Grown men can agree to disagree. This was to someone saying, oh, Lennox, now you decide to tell the truth about AJ now that he won. That's what someone told him. But that's that. We still got about 9 minutes here. Who's got something to say?
I got a whole lot to say, more than 9 minutes worth, but I'll condense it down for you into a little two ounce bottle.
We could always go a little over. It's all right, but yeah, I got you. But by the way, before I go, guys, throw a jab at that like button, right? Make sure that shit turns blue, right? And go ahead, Rick. Go ahead, sir.
The fact that on this night, Andy Ruiz looked just like all of those 10 guys that AJ fought in his first 10 fights. Setups. Some of those guys, he knocked. I see you nodding, Reggie. You don't have to agree with me, but I've watched the guy. Andy didn't even fight like Andy. Did you see Andy knocking out that big Russian dude, Dmitrenko? Did you see him putting hands on Joseph Parker? And just like he put hands on Joseph Parker, he put hands on AJ in that first fight. The man you saw in this event was not that guy. If it were, you get a different outcome, because that's who he thought he was facing, even though he knew the man had extra pounds on him. But that's who whooped his ass. And like Mr. Boxing Today said, one ass whooping can change a guy's mind. Okay? And AJ's mind changed. He listened to those corner men, put him on a path to stay safe. And that's what he did. And he won that way. But he was in there with somebody who didn't compete. That's the end of that. Now, One Foe had a comment at 10:38 p.m. He said, I disagree. I guess this is when I was talking. He said, I disagree. AJ avenged a KO. Lennox had come from KOs. That is a tough and hard thing to do. He did the right thing to rebuild his confidence. Let me tell you something. Lennox did come back from KOs, but Lennox went through a process of being developed, redeveloping his confidence by taking some fights in the interim to restore the confidence and to work on some things that he was going to bring to the forefront when he faced the person who conquered him the first time. Now, in one fight, the first loss, the person that he fought in the rematch was not the same person that he fought in the first fight. Oliver McCall was a few days out of drug rehab when the WBC and Don King made him get in there and face Lennox Lewis. That's the famous fight where Oliver McCall just broke out and started crying. Lennox is punching him dead on his jaw with punches, and Oliver didn't go nowhere. But he's standing there crying. Okay, they stopped it because it was a non-performance by McCall. But I'm going to tell you something. Go back and look at the tapes. When Lennox walked into the ring for that fight against McCall, he had that same fucking look on his face that Joshua had. But it wasn't the same McCall that he was fighting that night. Now, in his other fight against his second conqueror, he went out there and took the guy out the way you're supposed to. An emphatic knockout. I think Hasim Rahman is still laying on the canvas where he got hit with that left and that right combo. Lennox knocked his brains out his head that night. That's the way you do it. That's the way you go in there and say, I'm ready for you this time. And the only reason he went in there like that against Rahman that time was because he knew in his heart Rahman won with a lucky punch the first time. So all he had to do is be mindful. I know this guy can punch. I've been in here with punches before. Let me handle myself. Let me do this. And let him feel my punch. And that's exactly what he did. But that's not who you saw in this event coming into the fight. And that's not who you're going to see the next time. Because the next time this guy gets touched up, he going again. And it's going to take somebody who ain't afraid to fight. Okay? If they get knocked down, they're going to get back up and get back in there. That's what's going to really fuck him up. You understand? Because he thinks that he really did something. But you were fighting a dead man. A walrus, as DStyle said earlier. Everybody know walruses ain't got no damn arms. Huh? And it was easy. It was easy. But it ain't going to be easy forever. There are guys out there chomping at the bit right now to get at him. Not the ones that they're gunning and planning for. Remember, Andy wasn't his original scheduled opponent for that fight. It was Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So he can go out there and set up a 5-fight plan and pick the Pulevs and the Usyks and all them guys. That don't necessarily mean that when they get in the ring, that's who's going to be across from him. And the blueprint has been opened up on him now. Just like when Tyson was defeated and they were like, oh, the blueprint is there now. This is what you do to Tyson. You don't think the blueprint has been opened up on AJ? But there are class fighters who already knew what the blueprint was because they know he's a hype job, but he never was going to face them anyway. He was never going to face them. But it's up to the rest of the guys in the division now to get out there and get their pound of flesh and say, you know what, this guy's here to be had, and I want to get him. There are guys out there like Joe Joyce and them. Man, the clock is ticking. That's all I got.
I would like to go. Yeah, thanks, man. I think that from some of the things that I just heard Reggie say and from some of the things that I'm reading here in the chat, I think you guys are really making the wrong argument here. Nobody on this panel, and I mean, unless I heard wrong, nobody on this panel thinks Ruiz won the fight. I mean, right or wrong? I mean, am I right or wrong? So some of the things that I'm hearing, it's like people are saying, well, you want him to just stand there and you want him to just let him hit him back. And see, those are things that people say that make excuses. Like the people who were saying that Joshua ran. Like, I never said he ran. I don't say fighters run. I don't say that. I don't use that word when it comes to boxing. I don't do that. So I think that you guys are kind of making an argument that's not there to be made. Like, nobody's saying Ruiz won the fight, and we're not trying to make excuses for Ruiz. He made plenty of excuses himself, and he did it to himself, you know? So, you know, like I said, I don't know where these things are coming from. That I'm seeing things like fluke champion here in the comment section. I mean, if Ruiz is such a fluke, then why did Joshua literally change his entire style in the second fight? Joshua went in there and did what he normally does in that first fight. That was a normal AJ in that first fight, and he got the shit beat out of him. So there's no fluke here, guys. He had to change something. So that, to me, that tells me there was no fluke.
Here's my thing, right? Like, I hear you. I mean, there's going to be trolls, you know. They're going to say,
Right.
"Oh, you're saying." I get all that, but to kind of what I'm trying to get at here is the following, right? If I know AJ give the analogy, so I'm kind of stealing it, but it is a football game, right? And they're running the ball on you, and you can't stop them, right? And they keep scoring that way. And let's say, oh, the linemen were out of shape, they were fat. You know, of course you're going to score, but regardless, you can't stop them. You know what I mean? Why is the quarterback going to drop back and throw Hail Marys for just to make the game exciting? Why is he going to do anything different if the other team, the defense, is not making any adjustments?
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So I just here's my thing. All right. It's not a stretch. Like what Reggie's saying, you know, that AJ is a good fighter just isn't a stretch. Like he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? Like he's easily top 5 in the world. Easily top 3.
I agree.
So if AJ's trash, I could only imagine the rest of the division. Okay.
I agree.
I mean, but so he's like that's all. And my thing, I don't think he looked that bad. I was posting still shots of earlier of the right hand landing. You see fucking how he's contorting the head of Ruiz. Okay, he's landing hooks, right? Just because Ruiz didn't go down to those shots, right? The dude's got a chin. He could take a punch, right? But what do you do when you can't knock a dude out, right? He stuck to a game plan, and it worked. Okay, it didn't look pretty 100% of the time. It's the first time he's done it. But for the most part, he accomplished what he wanted to achieve. And I never really thought the dude was in much trouble the whole fight. I just didn't see it. Like, I didn't see, like, oh, man, if Ruiz just hit him a couple more times. Like, he had, like, a moment in round 8, but that's about it. But he had to do more than that. You know, so my thing is to go from getting knocked down twice, quitting in the first fight, to coming in with a game plan, outboxing this dude. I mean, is it how I would prefer to do it? Nah, man, I want to see guys, you know, be more in front of each other. And I like boxer punchers. You know what I mean? That's what I like. But I don't have to agree with the game plan. And who cares what I think? It worked. Like, the game plan worked. Like, we could criticize it, but I know Reggie wanted to say something. Reggie's been shaking his head and going like this, and you know, what do you got to say, Reggie?
No, I'll do that when I agree or disagree with something. But you can't take nothing away from AJ. Nothing. I don't care how much people got hate for him. I don't like AJ, and I think a lot of people's assessments is based off the emotion of hating this guy, not wanting to see the guy succeed. I wanted to watch him lose, but I knew he wasn't. Because I knew this other goddamn fat ass didn't put the work in to be successful. And AJ went in here with the plan he was supposed to use, using the height and reach attributes that he that he had the advantages with, and he dominated with it. You can't take that away from him. He looked clean in this fight. That jab had much greater speed on it. His movements had much greater flow with it, and that's what you need. Sometimes you gotta box. It ain't about banging. It ain't about banging all the time. Now, if this dude's running in boxing, what the opponent doing? Now, on the opposite side, and that's why it's so critical to be in shape, being athletically gifted. And that's like Blood was speaking about something yesterday on OG Boxing Talk with Larry Holmes being the editor, and he spoke about how some of these heavyweights, even though they're taller and all this stuff, they're coming in here way too damn heavy. They're way too big, and they can't do anything but to try to go out here and tally up a bunch of knockouts, and they're not delivering punches right to where they're not even getting the knockouts, and then they're fatiguing and fading away. It's critical for heavyweights, even though people think heavyweights can come in at whatever weight they want to. No, it is critical that you come in a great cardio shape to where you can go the long haul with great activity, because you're gonna have to move around on some of these folks. And AJ did exactly what you're supposed to. Some days you go in there, you beat a brawler. Other days you go in there and you beat a boxer. And you can't take that away from him, regardless how much you hate him. I don't like the dude and that's why I'm mad at Andy. I didn't want to see AJ with the belts, but I give credit when it's due. The dude came out there and he shined. He shined his ass off, and they can't take that from him. Now going in there with Wilder, he gonna have trouble because Wilder can sit in there and box with him. He can move around, cut things off, but he wasn't in there with Wilder. He was in there with Andy Ruiz, and he shined his ass off. He looked good. Can't deny that.
I agree with just about everything both of you guys just said. I don't think he should have sat there and played Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You know, I don't have a problem with guys boxing. I don't have a problem with any of that. The only problems that I had was just the masterclass talk. That's just, to me, that's just out of space. Like that's not even close to what I saw Saturday night. And that's pretty much it, man. Like I said, I'm not making an argument that Ruiz won, and I'm not complaining that AJ moved around the ring. I just called it actually. I thought he went in there to survive, and he survived, and he got the W. You know, that's the way I saw it, man. And I'm not making arguments about his style of fighting or anything like that, man.
Here's what I'll say, right? It seems to me that one guy came thinking, he went into the fight saying to himself, I got to make sure I don't make that vital mistake again and get caught and hurt. The other guy went in assuming or waiting for that guy to make a mistake, right? And that was the difference here. One guy prepared, one guy didn't. One guy hoped, one guy didn't. You know, that's just the way I see it, man. I do agree that using the term masterclass is perhaps a little too much. But I'm not going to say he looked terrible either. I think he looked pretty good in there. I think he did all right. But, you know, that's that, you know. With that said, we're going to go ahead and give our final thoughts here and then wrap this one up. This has been Aftermath every Monday. Tomorrow, Punch Chats with Ashley Knuckles. We'll be live again, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget, man, Mexican Latino Wednesday or your baby nuts if you don't show up. Okay. And of course, you know, Boxing Conversations, Reggie Owens on Thursday. Go ahead, Stormy. Give us your final thoughts, bro.
Oh man, great conversation, man, and a great aftermath for the events that took place this weekend. I enjoyed exchanging ideas with you brothers on here, and I think we actually went through all of the fights that counted, and that was nice. I want to say salute to the chat that were very engaged in our discussion this evening. And thank you, D-Style, for inviting me once again on your platform. Salute to G Funky 84 and Reggie out there. And it's great to talk the sport, man. I love it. This is great, man. I could go on for hours. But everybody, you know, you can follow me at the Stormy B-Man channel. That's where I'm at. And that's all I have right now. And just peace to everybody.
All right. And Reggie Owens. Oh, yes, indeed, man. Great talking with y'all, man. I'm supposed to be having, hey, man, y'all quiet down. I'm supposed to have them getting ready to put in bed. But this boxing talk, man, consumes me. But it was great talking with you guys, man. Speaking over these fights, speaking over our passion when it comes to the sports and the different aspects. That's the quiet. Hold on, let me pause. Hold on. Yeah, there they go. But this is the great thing about the sport is the passion it brings and how much we love this thing. But it's always great talking with y'all, man. I enjoy it. But once we get off of here, I got to get them ready for bed. But y'all hit that like button, man, or else you have baby nuts. But get to pressing that like button as well. And subscribe to each one of our channels if you haven't. All right.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Chief Funk.
Well, as always, I like to end the show by thanking D-Style for having me on the show again. I do appreciate it. Although I got to warn D-Style, you stirred up Ruben Guerrero last week, man. So I don't know if he's gonna come on this week, man. I got to text him. I got to massage his ego, bro. He's a little mad, you know. But yeah, guys, great show tonight. As always, man, the boxing conversations that we have here are the best, man, and I love it. It's hard to find this kind of conversation out in the real world, but we're here, man, and we're doing it because we love the sport. Make sure that you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to everybody here if you ain't subscribed. And that's it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody that tuned in, man. It was a good show. I appreciate the support. Everyone that came through with a super chat, much appreciated. I do believe I went through all of them. Hope I didn't miss anybody. And shout out to the chat. I mean, we don't have time to go through every comment, but I do read the comments. I do appreciate the boxing discourse and all that. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. This is DStyleBoxing. So make sure you guys, what do we do?
Keep it boxing.
Keep it boxing.
Yeah, we're out.